Lately, we've been hearing a lot about people getting laid off. Food stamps are going away due to the shutdown there at the Capitol, where Congress cannot decide if they want to fund the government or not. And so with that, the aftermath includes a lot of American people who are now standing in bread lines or soup lines or, the food pantries, for lack of better words, because they have run out of food because they have no money to purchase the food. Well, I will tell you, all of my life, I have been hearing about store your food and water. Now, of course, that particular warning comes from that of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, who said that one day we would be here, right? Where there would be a famine, a drought, or economic collapse. And we are seeing a lot of that. And I will tell you right now, I live in Texas, Houston to be exact, and typically it rains a lot. But this year, we haven't gotten that much rain at all. In fact, they ended hurricane season early because, from what I can remember, it only rained like 2 or 3 times, which is rare. And I will tell you right now, we are in a drought. They tell us, hey, use the water sparingly because we don't have a lot of it, right? So, yeah, there's definitely a drought. And again, back to people not being able to buy food. So let's talk about the warning. When he said store your food and water, he meant store things like dry goods, beans, whole wheat, cornmeal, dry milk, rice, things like that, that will store and last in case something like this happens, right? Because those foods are nutrient dense, which means that, for one, they will fill you up and there's nutrition in those foods. Now, obviously, nobody really wants to eat beans and rice all the time, but it's better than eating nothing. Right? Now, you can also bake bread if you know how to do it. You know how to do it. You can Google all that. I ain't finna get into it. But there's a lot of things you could do with that dry goods, or those dry goods, rather. Now, to the water, store your water. And he said preferably in glass bottles because plastic, sometimes has chemicals in it. And if it sits for a long time, the chemicals will absorb into the water. So store your food and water. Now, he said you should be prepared to do that for several weeks or months. And right now, the shutdown has gone on for about a month now. And again, a lot of those people who are in those federal jobs, they are literally standing in food lines to get free food at the food pantries. Now, let's talk about people who were on the food stamps program. Well, they said if the government is not funded by next month, November 1st, that people aren't going to get a deposit of food stamps. So you see people crashing out all over the internet talking about, what am I going to do? You even hear about people saying they're going to do grocery runs. I guess where they going to steal stuff out the grocery stores. Please don't do that. But, did you store your food and water? You get food stamps. So there's no sense of not having food that you can use in the long run, right? Now, I'm not talking about anybody bad or anything, but sometimes people, when they get those benefits, they buy food that'll disappear like that. The processed foods. But everybody, whether you're getting food stamps or not, should be getting flour, rice, beans, that kind of stuff, because you just never know what's going to happen. So, for people who did not heed the warning, it's not too late. Right? But you better go do it soon because everybody else is going to start hearing the message, because everybody else is going to start feeling the crunch, if you will, because this thing is not going to get better. It's going to get worse. And we see it get worse and worse every day. And pretty soon you're going to start having people knock on your door, like knock, knock, knock. Hey, can I borrow some flour? Can I get a cup of rice? Can I get some beans? And then, of course, you're going to have to tell them no, because if you give all your stuff away, then you're going to be like them, right? Now, the other part of that is pretty soon people ain't going to start asking. They're going to start taking. So it would behoove everybody to take care of your own stuff. That way, we don't have to go through any of this. But something tells me there's a lot of people who aren't going to listen because they don't think it's going to be them. Well, there's a lot of people who are standing in those bread lines, per se, that didn't think it was going to be them. And I always say, there, but for the grace of God, there go I. That is not me right now, and I hope that it never is. But I'm going to do all I can to make sure that I'm able to take care of myself and those around me for as long as I can until things get better. So anyway, heed the warning. For more insightful commentary, please subscribe to this channel and my channel, The Demetra Kaye Show, here on YouTube. Peace.